Welcome to another video. English Language Paper 1 exam is on June the 5th. So as you can see on my right, I have Mr. Big Guns. I have Mr. Salis, who is here today, guys, to make sure that together we can ensure you get your grade 9 for English Language Paper 1. But the question is, what are we even doing in this video, Mr. Salis?
We are gonna hit you with the best and most common language devices. You will be able to spot them in questions 1 to 4 of reading paper 1 and use them in question 5. Start you off with the simile. A simile just compares two things and it uses either the word like or the word as.
I've got a really good example.
Go for it.
I've got a grade 9 example for a simile. And I guarantee you that you guys have not heard this example before. Now, think about animal, maybe a cheetah. Now, what a cheetah is very good for us. I'm sorry, but this is bad. I'm being sarcastic. But an example of a simile that the whole world, their dog and their cat uses is he ran like a cheetah. Please don't use that example in your exam. But as I said, guys, a simile is comparing two nouns using like or as, but don't use he ran like a cheetah.
Yeah.
Think of a better simile.
Yeah. He ran like someone being chased by a crazed mother-in-law. If you're a boy, I love being able to use some humour. If you don't want to use humour, he ran like someone who'd been put together by a mad robot scientist. You get the idea that maybe he's not very fast, or if it's a really good robot scientist, very fast. Next up, we have
hyperbole. Guys, next advice, we have hyperbole. Now, what is hyperbole? Hyperbole is your best friend. Because every single English language paper, any insert will always have hyperbole. Guys, hyperbole, read the first 4 letters. H-Y-P-E, hype. It's when you're over the top. It's when you hype something up too much. It's when you over-exaggerate. Example, sir?
Mr. Salis was so handsome that all the mirrors in his house magically repaired themselves so they could see him.
Wow, that is... And you thought of that on the spot, which is even more impressive. Number 3, sir. What is our third language device?
Okay, I love this. It's alliteration with sibilance. We'll do alliteration first. That's where you repeat the consonant sounds at the beginning of words. So, she cut me with her cruel smile. We've got the hard sound of cut and the hard sound of C in cruel, which gives you the idea of the harshness of this smile. Now we move on to sibilance, where the letter that we alliterate with is S. There are 2 reasons to use this. One, for a soft sound. So the soft waves stroked my feet on the shore. It's peaceful, it's lovely.
So guys, number 1 was simile, number 2 was hyperbole, number 3 was alliteration with sibilance, and number 4, do not underestimate this one. If you're in your exam and you can't find language devices, which may happen to you, do not give up. What do you do, guys? You pick out words. You pick out verbs, adjectives, nouns, adverbs. There are plenty of model answers where students get very good grades, 8 out of 8 as a fact, where they just analyze verbs. So do not get stuck in your exam, guys. Do not think, oh man, I can't find any language devices, what do I do? Guys, pick out words, pick out verbs, pick out adjectives, but don't say words. Please actually name the adjective, name the verb, name the adverb, or name the adverb. I think that's one that's left, not saying twice.
So I'm well into verbs. I think that's like the most important one. So she ran into the room and shut the door behind her is much different from she burst into the room and slammed the door behind her.
Yep.
You just flip the verbs, totally different sentence.
And guys, the easy wins. They are easy wins.
Number 5, emotive language. Look guys, you're teenagers, you're judgmental, you're always criticising people or telling them that they're awesome. Either we're the goat or we're idiots. This is emotive language. It's going to be really easy for you to use. So, instead of portraying somebody as just a normal average person, think of language that makes us either love them or hate them. She looked at me with a special glow in her eyes. Emotive, that special glow makes me feel positive. She looked at me with razor sharp coldness. Emotive language, I know that she hates me.
Now guys, on emotive language, we know that you're not sitting in the exam crying because the extract is so emotional, and that you're not sitting there tearing the paper because you're so angry. You need to kind of lie a little bit to yourself. You need to kind of waffle a little bit to yourself. Don't think about what emotion you're actually feeling. Think about what emotion the writer is trying to make you feel.
If you've used those techniques, you're probably going to easily hit grade 6. So now we're going to hit you with the techniques to take you to 7, 8 and 9.
So guys, number 6, you may think, metaphor. But yes, we have chosen a metaphor. Now the reason we have chosen a metaphor is because simile and metaphor are normally talked about together. But simile is super easy. Metaphor isn't as easy. Now let me explain to you how I teach metaphor.
Go on.
Metaphor, guys, is when you compare two nouns without like or as. That's your basic definition, right? But an easy way of using a metaphor is just by saying something is something. For example, he is an angel. She is the devil. Done. That's your metaphor ticked, and you've compared two nouns without like or as.
I love metaphor. It's like the hidden technique in all writing. And the idea of the metaphor is to get your reader to think of things in a way that they've never thought before. The two kings sat on their simple throne. Yeah, we're on a table. We're not really kings, but we are. You get the idea? You've not thought of us as kings before, but now you'll never be able to forget it.
Which one's Malcolm? Sorry, which
Which one's Duncan?
Let's not go there. So next we have number 7. We have personification.
Oh wow! So personification, right? You take something that is not human and you give it human characteristics. The most boring one that I see all the time. Can you tell which this one is?
Oh, the dancing in the wind.
Yes, the branches are dancing in the wind. So, for example, the walls of the room crushed in on them, a womb in reverse. That's a bit weird, but you get the idea. You're not going to survive that. It's not going to be very pleasant. But you want to describe it in a way that's human, but isn't something we've heard a million times before.
Okay, and next, guys, I think we're on number 8 and number 9. This time we're going to come with 2 again, and we have oxymoron and juxtaposition. These 2 are every student's dream. I know what oxymoron is, I know what juxtaposition is, but do you really know what these are? And can you actually use them in your exam? Or are you just telling yourself a sad story to make yourself feel better? That is juxtaposition, by the way. So guys, oxymoron. What is oxymoron? Oxymoron is taught as 2 opposite words. That's correct. However, how do you actually manifest that in reality? The way I look at it, guys, is always start off by thinking of an adjective. Big, small, happy, sad, and so on. Once you've chosen your adjective, so for example, let's pick the adjective small. You then think of an opposite noun. So what is the opposite of small? The opposite of small is big. What is really, really big? You might say, I don't know, the small skyscraper. That's your oxymoron completed. You think of an adjective and then you think of a noun that is the opposite of your adjective. That's a method that you can use in your exam when you're stuck to use an oxymoron. Now, once you've got an oxymoron, you're over here. How do we climb higher up the grade boundaries? Guys, the next thing we do is we change it into juxtaposition. How do you turn an oxymoron into juxtaposition? You simply explain the oxymoron. Because oxymoron is 2 opposite words, juxtaposition is 2 opposite ideas, is 2 opposing ideas. So you have a 2-word oxymoron, write 3 or 4 lines explaining how the skyscraper is small, how the snail is fast, how the princess is ugly. And the moment you begin explaining it, you go from having 2 opposite words to 2 opposing ideas. And guys, that is number 8, oxymoron, and number 9, juxtaposition. And that is, last but not least,
the semantic field. So this is a good phrase to use in your reading paper, but it's also a brilliant thing to use in your writing. With a semantic field, you pick vocabulary from describing one sort of idea. So let's pick war. It's really easy. You've seen it before, describing the weather. So the clouds marched across the sky, firing down fury in pellets of rain. So you've got language of war. You can flip it to something peaceful. So I'm back on the beach again. I'm thinking of my mum. So the waves caressed me with gentle strokes, while the sound of children playing whispered sensually in my ears. That's pretty bad, actually. Can you improve on that?
I'll give you an easy example.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. Guys, when COVID went down, what were the 3 things the government kept telling us? And these became the semantic field of coronavirus. Whenever you saw these 3 things, you remembered, okay, COVID, COVID, COVID. I'm pretty sure it was hand sanitizer, like wash your hands. It was face mask,
Yeah.
and 2 meters. Those 3 phrases created a semantic field of COVID. Every time you saw those, you realized COVID is about be careful. So guys, that's how I look at semantic field. I use boxing as an example. Punch,
Yeah.
kick, takedown, MMA,
Yes.
football, I don't know, referee, goal, 11 per side. These are words, these are phrases that make you think of one topic. And this will always be present in your insert, in your extract. The writer will always use certain words to create a mood or an atmosphere or describe the character a certain way. All you want is 3. Once you've got 3, you've got your semantic field. And it's an easy peasy device to also use in your story. Think about what kind of atmosphere you want to create, if it's dark and airy, or if it's happy and beautiful. Think of a couple of words that you can scatter across your first paragraph that can, over time, build that atmosphere. And that is semantic field, I think.
That is it.
So guys, those were the top 10 language devices that we think are easy for you to pick and easy for you to use in your English language exams. But we understand that English language is made up of 2 devices. On one hand, we have language devices. Sir, on the other hand, Mr. Alice, what do we have?
We've got structure. We're going to make that video now.
Yes, right now.
Oh man,
Now,
we're going to
guys-
make the structure video. This,
guys-
by the way, is the middle of the video.
Now guys, look, if you want to watch the video on the top 10 structural devices, if you click on the link in the bio right now, that'll take you over to Mr. Salaz's channel where you can watch the video on the top 10 structural devices. And by the end of that video, guys, you will be absolutely bulletproof. 10 language devices, 10 structural devices. You are walking into your exam on Monday absolutely undefeatable. As always, guys, it's been Mr. Everything English, joined today by Mr. Salas. Thank you for your time.
It's been the most exciting day of my life until
Hyperbole
the next video.
and structural device of foreshadowing.
Exactly.
Peace.
Out.